So today we want to talk about transfiguration and how we, by transfiguring our partners or the way we see our partners, they actually elevate or transfigure the vision of themselves. So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel when see the best in you constantly?
Yeah, basically, should we define transfiguration real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah, transfiguration is basically when you choose to view what you're looking at in its most beneficial or highest light. You look at its most refined attributes, and that is what you focus on and amplify and let that expand so you can kind of transform your vision of the person you're looking at. So when you're doing that to me, when you kind of see those highest aspects of me, it helps me to see, first of all, it helps me to see myself in that light and to feel like an inherent sense of safety in our communication or communion in that moment, because I can see that I can be myself. I can be however I'm being, and you are still choosing to see you're choosing to see the parts of me, or the way that you see me is in this way that maybe I necessarily don't see myself. I may be kind of aware of the various parts of my being, like the the parts that I think are, that I self-judge maybe automatically because I'm
yeah,
used to that, and then I also see some other parts. But for you, when you reflect back at me, uh, the the beautiful parts of me, then I feel more, I feel like safer that I could be who I am, to be who I am with you without needing to, from the outset, only express things that I think you will accept.
exactly. Not to like engineer this
Hmm.
character that best fits my interests.
I don't have to act.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to act, and that's a really nice and safe place to be,
Hmm.
especially if you're in a relationship where you call home. So that you, I mean, if you have the necessity to go out there in the world and act and make a new character of yourself for whatever reasons, then at least you have that safe space back home where you feel like, right, that you're yourself and that you can be the best you can be just because your partner sees you that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really beautiful thing to transfigure. I know that I transfigure you quite a bit as well.
You do that with me. That's amazing.
How
You
does
totally.
that? How does that? You want to say a little bit about how that feels for you?
Yeah, well, it feels amazing because not only because of the reasons that you mentioned before, but also because all those things, the secret talents that one might have like really hidden in many ways because
Mm.
I might think, oh, I'm not good enough at this, I'm not good enough at that. Then you give me such a boost of like self-esteem when you look at me and you transfigure me and you make me believe in myself. You make me believe that I'm capable of things that I thought before were only part of illusions and part of just like a fantasy in my head. So by you translating me into my best self,
Hmm.
I actually feel like I'm capable of it and I'm responsible to become that better self.
Mm. Yes, I feel like it's a loving act to transfigure someone, and it kind of reminds me of in neuroscience, the the pathways in our nervous system that run from the prefrontal cortex down through the insula into the viscera, that's involved in mirror functions, so mirroring what you see in the way you feel, etc. If I can do that for you, then you will subconsciously, at least, feel that being reflected back at you. So
Yeah,
it like refines, it's like it purifies the loop of relationship, because you put out there what you put out there, and maybe you think, you know, you're putting this whole package of like good and positive and stuff, like negative and your own judgments. But when I take it, if I choose to amplify the good parts and go so far as to kind of display a sense of wonderment or even admiration for those parts in my own gestures to you, subtle gestures, like I don't reflect back at you oh, there's something there I don't like, but I only really cut through all that stuff and see and magnify the beautiful. And I could even go so far as to, this is actually kind of key, I could actually go so far as to take the parts that you consider not beautiful,
Yes.
and view them as a strength. So
Yeah.
you might think that there's a part of you that, let's say, and not necessarily you, but you know, just the other, right? And this probably happens with you because I think we've talked about it, is that there are features and attributes of each of our personalities that we associate with what we've learned, lessons from trauma. So
Yeah.
we've been traumatized in micro traumas or big traumas, and we've learned like particular reactions to things. And then you see them as, you know,
Something negative
Yeah.
from your personality.
but the way that I see it is like, look how amazing you have this strength. Like
Yeah.
you learned how to do this and that. That's so beautiful. And then if you see it as a beautiful light, then you can automatically turn, you know, sort of you can transfigure your own and see your own scars, or however you want to call it, as powers. You can turn it into
Exactly.
powers, no?
Yeah, and I think that's such a great thing. If we can take something from this talk, is maybe if you're in a relationship where you infinitely love your partner, and even though you've been together for years or just starting, there's an important part of that relationship and the communication that implies the beauty of transfiguring the other. It makes you yourself bigger in the relationship in terms of not in an egoistic way, but bigger into bringing awareness to the partnership, but also it makes bigger the other one, and it makes the relationship always working for the best in each other, no?
Yes, and if you want to think about it in really even practical ways, transfiguring someone is like a duty of trying to improve the quality of the life of that person, as well as, if you're in a relationship with that person, or even if you encounter them often, of improving your own life.
Yeah.
Because if I transfigure you, it's going to elevate your own view of yourself, and I think you mentioned that you have a responsibility
Yeah.
to cultivating that aspect of
Yeah.
you, and so then you're more likely to shine your best self.
Yeah.
And you do it to me, then I shine my best self, and we
Yeah.
get into this ratcheting up of just turning all our scars into powers, and to focusing on, you know, you may have had in the past, maybe people even put you down enough where you stop believing in your own powers. And by you being transfigured by the other, by me here, or my awareness, you get to heal and rekindle
Yeah.
your kind of inner child and your powers, and you get to release this armor that you've built. And I'm saying that because I know I feel that way.
I feel that way too. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing to do. And so the easiest way to do it is just to see the beauty of the person that you have in front, being a partner or not, and compliment that person from truth. You know, it might make the other person's a great day. You know, so.
Totally, it does.
That's what we wanted to talk about, and yeah, thank you for listening to us.
So go transfigure your loved ones, and
Even the ones that are not loved.
yeah, just you can even walk through people on the street, look at anybody, a homeless person, an animal, someone in pain, and just do some light transfiguration. Just hold that in your awareness and go make the world a better place.